I see them lined up, dollar signs in their eyes. They're feeling bullish, but I smell the lies. They're double down and begging fate for a break. I'm cutting my losses before theirs escalate. They're playing slots while I'm running the floor. They're leveraging debt, I'm stacking up more. They hold their breath, I hold conviction. They're dreaming big, I trade with precision. They scream diamond hands, but it's paper thin. Every bounce back's just another dead end. They follow the herd, I lead the decay. They're buying my bags while I walk away. No one does it better, no one comes close. They're drowning in red while I overdose. I'm taking the spread, they're chasing the top. They're bag holding stocks that already dropped. No parachutes when you're late to the trade. I'm building my throne while they dig their own graves. I time the peaks, I call the lows. I'm the best fucking trader this side of the Mississippi, you already know. And FOMO creeps in, now they're margin maxed. Their brokers smile while they sign the contracts. They're dreaming of riches, I'm stacking receipts. They're taking the bait, I'm cutting the leash. They're reading the charts like it's prophecy. I'm moving the dark, keep them guessing on me. They pray for a breakout, I profit on pain. They hope for the future, I play for today. They chant to the moon with their hands in the fire. I'm pulling my chips while they bid it up higher. They're worshiping memes, I'm counting my stacks. They're calling it faith, I'm calling it tax. No one does it better, no one comes close. They're drowning in red while I overdose. I'm taking the spread, they're chasing the top. They're bag holding stocks that already dropped. No parachutes when you're late to the trade. I'm building my throne while they dig their own graves. I time the peaks, I call the lows. I'm the best fucking trader this side of the Mississippi, you already know. You want the throne, then bleed for the seat. Don't bet against me, don't bet against me. They swear they're wolves, but they follow like sheep. They hold till it's worthless, I sell while they sleep. No one does it better, no one comes close. They're drowning in red while I overdose. I'm taking the spread, they're chasing the top. They're bag holding stocks that already dropped. No parachutes when you're late to the trade. I'm building my throne while they dig their own graves. I time the peaks, I call the lows. I'm the best fucking trader this side of the Mississippi, you already know. Mississippi, you already know.
Oh, brother. Good morning is a beautiful Wednesday, February the 19th, and we're already crushing it with a little bit of Tendies Tunes this morning. Remember, all that music, if you enjoy it, if you want to listen to it, repeat in your headphones, the channel is live. It is free for all of you. If you guys are kind of bopping along to the music in the description of the video, 100% free. Check it out. It is there for you. Since we're talking about things that are free, shout out to Edgeful. They are the partner of today's stream. You could get a free 7-day trial that is pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. I figure I might as well bring it up as we're talking about free things, but also I'm going to be running you through a morning prep session before the market actually opens today, to help everyone who maybe needs assistance or maybe just a new mental framework of how to prepare for the trading day. So we're going to be doing that this morning, but we also have some political drama to go over, some market drama to go over, some individual equity drama to go over. So we're going to be covering all of that as well. I hope that sounds good to you. So we're going to do all the drama. Then we're going to do some prep work. Then the market's going to open. Then we're going to make a bunch of money. Then someone's going to say something stupid about AMC or Ripple or GME, and then I'm going to rant. Then it's going to be the end of the show. Then you're going to be like, yo, I kind of like that guy. So you're going to sign up for the Discord. Then we're going to hang out in the Discord for the rest of the day. We're all going to make a bunch of money. The market's going to close. Then I'm going to film an update video. Then I'm going to go to the gym and cry on the treadmill. And then I'm going to keep crying in the sauna. And I'm going to get back. And then I'm going to tell myself, all right, you're only going to eat one meal. And then I'm going to eat like 2.5, maybe 3 meals. And then I'm probably going to watch random TikTok videos. and then I'll probably go to bed, and then we'll run it back for tomorrow. So I hope that sounds good. You guys might be wondering, why am I so confident that this is exactly the way that the day is going to play out? And folks, if you have not seen it, I am clearly wearing my luckiest of Buffalo shirts. So literally whatever I say goes today. I'm basically omnipotent when wearing this shirt. So I feel very, very strongly that all my predictions will come to fruition. So I just want to throw that out there. Where's the pooping? Already did it. Already 3 to 4 times already this morning. I like to do that early in the morning. It's just the best way to honestly start a day off. So that's the plan. I hope that sounds good. Obviously, shout out to Edgeful. Remember, if you like the music, Tendies and Tunes, it's in the description of the video. And we're going to be doing all that breakdown. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. Obviously, it makes me feel better because these, I guess, computer-based algorithms are the lords of my life. And there's a little bit of a dopamine feedback when I do see more likes. But beyond that, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, as there's more engagement, it does serve this video, this stream, this show, this community to other people. So I very much appreciate that. I'm never going to ask you for $1, but folks, if you want to say just, hey, thanks for doing what you do, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to all do that stuff, and we'll get more people into the Goonie community. And with that being said, let's rock and roll. Stock futures are little change after the S&P 500 clinches record high. I have a feeling that if I update this, no, the internet CNBC didn't update it. Well, they're actually now slightly down. So the SPY, kind of what we're seeing is these awkward spikes at 4 in the morning that then get faded into actual market open. So we're seeing that in the SPY. We're seeing that in the Qs. I created a new position on Meta that I'll cover later on. I just think it's a little overextended after 20 green days. I think it's time for a reasonable pullback. And then I also want to talk about Nikola, an EV play that was massively popular back in 2020, and then everyone found out it's horrifically fraudulent. Just filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, currently down 51% in pre-market trading. So there's a lot to sink our teeth into today. But first, with the political drama. Rubio says sanctions stay for now as Trump eyes Putin summit. So some of the big news of yesterday was the Trump team and the Putin team kind of talking without the EU, without Ukraine, but trying to resolve that whole situation. Not everyone was so stoked. Europe flails for response after Trump blames Kyiv for Ukraine war. Some of the U.S. outreach to Russia over Ukraine. European leaders are groping for common ground, so they don't know what to do. Sidebar, I don't know if you guys have been watching the news at all related to Candace Owens and this dude's wife, who maybe is more of his husband. I don't know. That's a whole wild story that maybe we could cover if the market's really slow today. But if you haven't checked it out, there's a lot of drama around Candace Owens and the French, I guess, leadership team. And really, we're talking about Macron and his wife / potentially husband / they have the weirdest response ever. But we're going to go way too far off the rails if we start with that early this morning. So bringing it back. Also, Zelensky's upset. Zelensky hits back at Trump's comments, says Ukraine is not for sale. He also, in a classic Trump way, he's like, you don't know how to read polls. I'm actually way more liked than you're saying. So weird stuff going on there. It is, I guess, a very interesting situation. Ukraine's pissed off, EU's pissed off, and I guess just the U.S. and the Russia team are sitting down, and it seemingly we're getting some positive news from Trump, from Putin of like, okay, and I'm calling it positive news because in these situations, the baseline is just negative, like of F you, you're not doing anything, you're not here for real negotiations. So the fact that they're both leaning a little bit more positive, I think overall shows you how positive this is. So obviously, fingers crossed, you want like lives to not be lost, you want tensions to calm down. It would be better if various countries weren't just literally at each other's throats. So we're going to see how this goes. I feel like this is going to be a pretty important narrative for the coming weeks, coming months. So definitely pay attention to that. Trump floats 25% tariff on U.S. auto drug chip imports. So this is really important because after the whole global tension drama update, we actually had Trump. He was doing some things, I believe, at 4 or 4:15. He was signing some executive orders, so he talked there. And then later on, he did actually an interview with Musk. So we have various things to hop into. And let's start with the tariff news because as it relates to really the economy, inflation, monetary policy, and for us, active trading, the tariff, the reciprocal tariff, the tariff war, the trade war, the drug war, they're all one and the same. They're all synonymous at this point. This has been the major thing driving the market. So this is the most recent update from the president himself.
I've been contacted by some of the biggest companies in the world And because of what we're doing economically and through tariffs and taxes and incentives, they want to come back into the United States. And we'll be announcing various very large companies, the biggest actually, and they'll be coming back, having to do with chips and having to do also with cars and lots of other things. We're going to be announcing some very, very big, momentous decisions are being made by companies all around the world, the biggest, and they want to come back into the U.S. Car plants are being canceled in other locations now because they want to build them here. And you read about a couple, not that I want to mention names or anything, but you read about a couple of big ones in Mexico just got canceled because they're going to be building them in the United States. And that's very simply because of what we're doing with respect to taxes, tariffs, and incentives.
Right there, taxes, tariffs, and incentives. Whether you agree with it or not, Trump has been very, very consistent about this of, hey, the U.S., in his opinion, and to be fair, if you look into it, you could say that we are being unfairly treated. A lot of people tariff the U.S. without us tariffing them. So from that point, he's like, okay, we're the people who are the most extreme. He hit him back with tariffs, and he said, if you in any way reciprocate, we're going to double. And he knows since we have the largest economy, it'd be painful for everyone involved, but on a relative basis, it'd be more detrimental to the people fighting with us because in a siege war, we can withstand more pain. That's kind of the general premise of it. Then more recently, he came out and basically said, if anyone has a tariff against us, and we're gonna copy it. So if you don't like the tariff, well, then just don't tariff us. It was just kind of like a perfect mirroring situation, a reciprocal situation. And then that kind of seemed to be more of the sentiment of, if you don't like it, stop tariffing us. Otherwise, bring your manufacturing and your development back to the U.S. itself. And this is seemingly what we got a continuation on last night. So at this point, I think the overall situation is a little bit more understandable just because he's been very consistent on what's going on. And at this point, I think it's getting kind of predictive of what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. So I think the market is taking that as a positive sign, removing some uncertainty from the situation. Right after that, though, he kept talking, and this is a part that is probably going to make a lot of you mad because if you guys are as fond as Doge as I am, sorry, I can't speak. I guess I haven't had enough espresso this morning. Trump went on a 4-minute and 20-second rip of all the, I guess I can't call it illegal, but I think we could all safely say that it was the misuse of money that the Doge team led by Elon Musk has already found. Dude, some of these are going to leave your jaw on the floor. Truly crazy.
That's just that. And then, where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a
$500 million
on the environment. It's called environmental, social, and governance investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources. $520 million. Somebody got $520 million for an environmental, sounds like an environmental study. I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, not $520 million. $520 million.
There's $500 million
ESG.
right there. ESG.
$25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in the country of Colombia. Well, it's nice. $25 million going to Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place, to research and drive social and behavior change in Uganda. $42 million. What about us?
Social change in Uganda.
Social change in our country. $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions.
Mozambique paying for circumcisions in Mozambique. $10 million.
$9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people?
Cambodian youth,
Can we
enterprise
teach them
skills.
about enterprise? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center, which is a very liberal group of people. Wonder how much of that money came back to the people that approved it. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia.
What's that even mean?
$486 million
Public procurement,
to the
Serbia,
Consortium
14 mil.
for elections and political process strengthening, including
this
22
is
million.
all like, and it just keeps going, and these totals are just getting bigger and bigger. 21 million for voter turnout in India, 442 million to research and drive social and behavioral change in Uganda. It's just like, none of these sound real. Like, maybe I'm too pessimistic, or maybe I'm being realistic. I just feel like a huge percentage of all these individual numbers are going directly into someone's pocket, and not even for the effort that they're calling it, which also just sounds absurd. So we're sitting here, and I just don't get it. I don't get it whatsoever. Every single time one of these pops up, at first I laugh, and then I really think about it, and I get absurdly angry. I'm here in the New York area, and I look around, and the amount of homeless people, our own people, on the streets in horrid situations, this money would help so many of them. Give them a safe place to live. Give them 3 warm meals a day. The vets, there's so many horrific stories of the vets in this country who are not even treated well. They're actually legitimately treated horribly. Those are people who served us, protected us, got hurt, really standing up for the American dream. And then they're like, yeah, 21 million for the voter turnout in India. And then you have like a vet who has either serious physical, mental, or both damage. And they're like, I would like a little bit of assistance. Like, truly anything would help. And they're like, nah, we don't fucking have it. Sorry. We've been too busy lining the pockets of other people. And like, that's inappropriate, but they're not even lining the pockets of people here in the US. Like, dude, it drives me up a wall. And the fact that right now there are many people and politicians who are standing up and saying, no, stop looking into this. Don't look into this. Don't look into USA. Do you know how guilty that makes everyone seem when they're like, no, stop looking into financial corruption? Like, I feel like I'm fucking living in Looney Tunes land. I really do. Every single politician or even person on the street, there's so many videos now of like, I can't believe Elon's like, what the fuck do you mean he's not? Why hasn't this been happening? I feel like I'm so far on the other side. And what's crazy is like deep in my soul, I believe this is just the logical way to run things. This is the moral way to run things. It's like, yeah, let's track our money. As a tax-paying person, you should be able to know where your money is going. And the fact that there's elected officials who took an oath to serve us, and yet they're standing there and saying, I don't think we should look into this. I really don't think. What the fuck do you mean we shouldn't look into it? I'm paying the taxes. I want to know where it's fucking going. And the fact that so many people are trying to argue that this is a bad thing. Yes, there is a certain risk of throwing, what's the saying, the baby out with the bathwater. But okay, this is still better off than doing nothing and letting financial corruption run awry. It literally makes me want to lose my mind. So I'm sure we're going to be getting more of this, and I do have a quick update. But before we go there, I just need to let you know, with respect to today in the market, before I get too fired up, FOMC meeting minutes coming out at 2 p.m. But remember, this is the Wednesday of an options expiration week. We have OPEX on Friday, so it's volatility expiration today, the Wednesday before. So as I'm getting volatile right now, I need you to know volatility expires this morning, and then FOMC meeting minutes coming out at 2 p.m. With respect to inflation and pissing away money, UK inflation leaps to the higher than expected 3% in January, so going the way of the US, higher than expected inflation. With respect to individual equities, we still have earnings. I would say the big ones are tomorrow: Alibaba, Walmart, Unity, Rivian, Block, Texas Roadhouse, of course. But circling back to Rivian, we do have some crazy news related to the EV sector. Nikola, early this morning, Nikola shares halted pre-market for news pending Nikola Corporation files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Delaware. So this is exactly what happens when you are running a completely fraudulent company who lies to their investors. Years later, not only did Trevor Milton face jail time, prison time, whatever you want to call it, he also just ran the company to the ground and cost a lot of people a lot of money. But the bigger news than that is KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, is no more. You heard me right. KFC moves U.S. headquarters from Kentucky to Texas. KFC is moving the U.S. headquarters from Louisville to Kentucky to Plano, Texas. So no more KFC. It is TFC, Texas Fried Chicken at this point. So just want to let you know that. And now let's kind of circle back a little bit more to what's going on with kind of Musk, but also kind of Trump, but also Doge, but also X. Musk's X in talks to raise money at a $44 billion valuation. Remember, that's how much he bought it for. Valuation is the same as Musk's 2022 Twitter acquisition. Billionaire has recently tapped private markets for big sums. Now, if you were to do a fundamental breakdown of it at this moment in time, is it worth that? No, but could it quickly get to that level and even exceed it? Yes. With the improvements and the success and the reception of Grok, their own AI model, especially Grok 3.0, we know AI is the field to be in right now. And the most recent, I guess, output from the team at X, at Twitter, at Grok, whatever team you want to call it, it is being very, very well received. It's doing very well in its initial testing. So if you just look at X as a platform right now without that, no, it's not worth 44 billion. And that's no surprise. We all know that he overpaid for it just because of the situation that he kind of got himself into. But I do believe, honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised this year, next year, if it could exceed that. So just want to let you know what's going on there. It maybe one of these days it comes back to the public market. Doge says it has saved 55 billion. Itemized data shows far less. So it's saying 55. Cost-cutting efforts itemized about 8.6. So maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle, 8.6, maybe 55. We're going to be finding out as the data becomes more clear. But what's interesting about this situation of what's going to happen with that money. So yesterday, President Trump and Elon Musk should announce a Doge dividend, a tax refund check sent to every taxpayer funded exclusively with the portion of total savings delivered by Doge. Elon said he would look into it. And then we got a little bit more of an update this morning. The Doge dividend. Elon Musk said Doge is considering sending a $5,000 refund checks to U.S. taxpayers. This plan would send 75 million households, a total of 400 billion, which is 20% of Doge's projected savings by 2026. What does that mean? Let us explain. So you could check this out on KoBuySE. It's a great Twitter account to follow, but that's how they're getting that breakdown. I'm a fan of it. I'm 100% a fan of it. Bro, I would take what he says with a grain of salt. He wants to look bad, just like he said 100 million accounts, which was debunked. He's never said 100 million. I've never heard that. But once again, even this, do you know how embarrassing it is that you're sitting there trying to defend government waste? Like, I just don't get it. Like, no one's ever going to be able to convince me that us looking into where our money goes as taxpayers is a bad idea. And yet there's so many people in this world spun up that Trump is a horrible person. So many people spun up that Musk is a horrible person. I guarantee you, if you just arbitrarily dislike Trump or Musk, but then let's say Biden and Harris did that, if Biden and Harris were saying, hey, there's too much waste and you'd be all about it. You would be all about it. So like, I feel way too many people are looking at this effort through the lens of who's attempting to pull off the effort and not the quality of the effort in itself. I think there's way too much of a politicized, hyper-politicized lens through which this is being viewed. But at the end of the day, the summation of this whole thing, the TLDR, the synopsis, whatever you want to call it, is we should clearly be looking into where our money's going. I mean, what is it? The Pentagon has never passed an audit. At one point, they lost track of $1 trillion. That's just the Pentagon. The CIA, we don't know what they're doing with money. Even the U.S. government. I mean, the Social Security stuff. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's absolutely insane that anyone is defending this. So I will applaud this, and I honestly think that the numbers are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, quick reminder, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, it's 100% free. Just go to locals.kohrs.locals.com. I give you all the info, the earnings, all the major macroeconomic events, the seasonality for each individual day, which brings me to today, Wednesday, February 19th, and let us kick off the prep for today's trading session. So over the past 27-ish years, the Bulls have only won this day 44% of the time, which means that the Bears have won it 56% of the time. The profit factor is below 1, means it's advantageous to Bears. And here's a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open, sold at close on this individual trading day. So it was bearish, then it was bullish, and over the past 2 to 3 to 4 years, it's more so favored the bears. So that is just the general seasonality of the day, and that's the first thing I'm going to check into, and this brings up Edgeful. Now, before I get into this, I do want to remind you on the screen right now, you can see that you could get a free trial. A free 1-week trial costs you nothing. Use the link to pin to the top of chat in the description of the video. Shout out to Edgeful. I'm going to show you how I use this tool and some other things integrated with the features of Edgeful to plan out my trading day and take trades that I know have a statistical likelihood of making me profitable. Once again, this is a free trial pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. The first thing I do every day is look at the seasonality. So you can check out the seasonality for whatever you want. I'm looking at the SPY, but you could see not only do they have a bunch of different stocks, but you could see they have Forex crypto futures, but we're going to use the S&P 500 for an example. But yes, they have the data for pretty much anything you could think of. So right here, seasonality for the SPY over the past 5 years, I see that February, okay, we're starting off a little bit bearish. And then I go to the weekly view and I realize, oh, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of bearishness. Now, this isn't the daily view. This is a weekly view, but it gives me an idea of, okay, if I have a bullish thesis, I might be running into a bit of headwinds, but if I have a bearish thesis, I might be being supported by a little bit of tailwind. So this is just the seasonality of this particular time frame. That's always the first thing that I check out. Then I check out the larger time frame. So right here, you can see kind of these pink lines on the top. These are the recent highs and the recent lows of last trading week. So last trading week, we had this low on Wednesday and we had this high on Friday. And you could see to kick off this week, Tuesday, because we didn't trade on Monday, we already broke the high. So the next thing I do after seasonality is I look at the previous week's range. These are statistics relating to breaking the previous week's high, breaking the previous week's low. And this is the first thing that jumps out to me, which I think this is very imperative to point out right now. So what we have here, you can see the odds previous week's range SPY. So you get the odds of broke previous week high, the low. So it's more often than break the high, 53% versus 27% high versus low. You only have a 12% chance of breaking both. But check this out. I want to bring your attention to right over here. Previous week's high touch than the low. That only happens 8.7% of the time, not even 9% of the time. So we're kind of in the world of Bayesian probabilities. We already broke the high from last week. That happened yesterday, which means the chance of us coming all the way down here, it's not 0%, it's 8.7. It's very, very low. So I know things are looking a little bit questionable right now in pre-market, but the chance of us going all the way back down to 598.51 after we broke that high, which clearly that already happened yesterday, I'm showing you right here, over the past 5 years, it's only happened 8.7% of the time. And just for those of you who are curious, when we break the low, what's the chance of going to the other side? Previous week's low touch, then high. That actually happens a lot more. That's this gray one right here, 27%. So this is once again just a piece of information showing you that the market is clearly biased for the bulls in like the longer term. So the fact that we are already in this event, the breakout, okay, interesting. It might pull back, but it would be very rare. It would be literally only 9% of the time, not even, that we come all the way back down to 598.51. So that's going to be the next thing I look into. After that, I check to see if we have any gap situations. So right now, we are within the high and the low of the SPY from yesterday and also within the Qs. So I'm not looking at any of the gap fill plays, but if we open above the high or below the low, yes, that's when you could dive into the gap fill. That's a classic play, and it's a classic play because the odds are just super good. The one thing I want to bring to your attention on this is Edgeful gives you the opportunity to know the stats, facts, and figures for a percentage of the gap fill, as in you don't have to go for the full gap fill. So let me show you this. So if we were to do, and also you could do it on whatever you want over here in terms of the underlying equity, but just to mess around and see like the percentages, like let's say your strategy, instead of going for the full gap fill, is just going for half of it, you're going to see that the odds get way, way, way higher. So there's various things you could kind of mess around and you can see how often it does or doesn't hit, but we've seen that before. We've kind of dove into that before, so I don't want to reiterate it too much, but regardless, that's the second thing I look at. So I check the seasonality, I check the previous week's range, then I check the gap fill. That just happens to not really be in play today. So then the next thing I bring my attention to to really set myself up today is to remind myself of instead of the previous week's range, I look at the previous day's range. And the previous day's range is pretty simple. It's the odds of when you break above the previous high or below the previous low. Generally, you get a continuation that way, and it kind of tells you about, I don't know, the various odds related to keep going. And actually this one is off because the close and the high were basically the same thing yesterday. What was it, around 611.49? So we're either looking for a break above that or below the low at 608. And you could also use a similar setup, a similar situation here on the Qs. So that's what I'll be looking throughout the day, and why I find that important, because when we break above the high and the low, it gives you an idea of, okay, are you going to close that day in the green or in the red relative to the previous close? And of course, you can set that up if you want to say, okay, no, I want to compare it to the open. Of course, you could obviously do that. But this is where I start to pair all of this information with what I see in the options market. So to quickly call it out, there's major key levels of the day, and I just want you guys to know they're on the screen right now. Feel free to screenshot this. Feel free to do whatever. So we have the high, the low, and the close. Just so you know, the high and the close yesterday on the SPY were effectively the same. This is where I overlay all the key option levels that I'm getting from Spot Gamma. So I know that 140 is a good target. I know 150 is a good target. We're opening around here, so I want to know if 117-ish holds as support, because if not, the next major support is at 100, and that is absolutely major, which, guess what, happens to align with the low from yesterday. So I'm using all of these key option levels that I can see on Spot Gamma here, and then I'm overlaying it with the stats, facts, and figures that I am getting from Edgeful. Now that the market's about to open, the next thing I'm going to do is look at the opening range breakout. So you look at the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you like, and then it gives you the odds of, okay, what's the chance of a reversal at some point throughout the day or continuation throughout the day. And the coolest thing about that is it actually lets you track these of the quote unquote what's in play. So let's just use the SPY as the example there. So right now, the market literally just opened, and throughout the day, we're going to be able to track, okay, which one of these were hit, which one of them were not hit. So that's the setup. So we kind of know where we are in the larger picture, and then I like to dial down, and already right here, look at right where we open. Folks, this is no surprise. We're opening at this key options level that we easily saw on Spot Gamma, and then from there, maybe it holds, maybe it doesn't hold, but what I could tell you is, according to these odds from Edgeful, we're going to be much more confident about what in the world is going on today if we breach the high or if we breach the low from yesterday. And obviously we can garner even more information, especially from a risk to reward perspective, by knowing, okay, are we actually breaking these option levels? So it's the option levels on top of the key breakdown levels, and then we're kind of creating a little bit more of a bias by also knowing the seasonality. So as this develops, as it plays out, I'll continue to call it out, just because ideally I want it to make more sense, especially for those of you who are new to it. But as the market is getting going, remember, a shout out to Edgeful. You can get all this information for free. This is a free trial. Just make sure to use the link pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And on that particular note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, I'm gonna get ready to go here. Like I said, we have, let me move this. We have our key levels. We open up literally at a key options level. I'm going to watch to see if we find support and come back up to the next key level, yesterday's high, or are we going to lose support and fall all the way to yesterday's low, which also happens to be another key options level in the realm of 6,100. Just to drive this point home, this is the current open interest. You can see the closest spikes are 6,100 and 6,150. The open interest changed from last night to now. Once again, a spike at 6,150 and then a spike around 60.50. That's a bit farther away. The current volume from last night to now, once again, on the put side, 6,100. On the call side, 6,150. If you look at the volume of the buys subtracting the sells, you can see that a lot of people were selling roughly the 6,145 call, and they were selling the 6,100 put. So this is just a lot of premium selling. So kind of creating a positive gamma environment, kind of bounds on the day. We also know the expected move on the day is about 40 bips or about 22 points. So that's another way that to kind of utilize some of this data and get an idea of where we might be going, where we might not be going. But this is, as always, I'm just going to kind of be waiting, seeing how this plays out. I do want to let you guys know that if you guys are looking, why should I join the Discord? Well, actually, this is one solid reason right here. Just yesterday, I talked about various reasons of why I got into Meta puts, and look at that, a nice 2.9K pop this morning, just playing off various, literally, what I was playing off of was the options flow and various, I guess, key strike levels that I saw on Meta on its first day of weakness. Looked like there was a lot of profit taking. I figured why not take advantage of it. This play was called out in real time to everyone in the Discord yesterday. I haven't made it. It's unrealized, but currently up 3K. So I'm going to see if I could catch this and leave. I haven't taken anything off, but literally got in yesterday, February 18th. That's not a bad return, 3K in one overnight hold. And once again, this wasn't just like math. It's just math, folks. That's what the market is. It's just the math surrounding crowd psychology and kind of tracking what the big guys are doing with their money. So throughout the day yesterday, we could see that many people were basically hitting the cash register on their Meta positions. After 20 green days in a row, people decided, you know what? It's time to lock this in and turn the unrealized gains into realized gains. And that's exactly what we saw in Meta. And then if we switch it up to the daily chart, you can see right here, first red day, we opened up below yesterday's low. We already get this upside gap fill. I'm from a technical perspective, not from an options perspective, but from a technical perspective, I wouldn't be surprised. This thing could drop all the way down to 675 and still be bullish. So obviously that's what I'll be kind of paying attention to myself, but just wanted to show you because I don't know, I talked about it in the update video. We were talking about it in the Discord. So I'm going to be watching this. The other one that I actually have no position on right now, but I am watching is LRCX, just because it looks like it's turning potentially into a solid swing play. This is in the world of semiconductors, but it had some strength. It took a breather, lower highs, lower lows. Then we got higher highs, higher lows. Kind of looks like it might be a swing back around. So I'm kind of watching these upper 80s, and this would be something for my like medium duration swing account, but potentially an upside gap fill to 106. Worthwhile to put on your watch list. I don't have any position right now. I'm letting you guys know, but it is obviously I have alerts and alarms going off because this is something that's currently interesting me. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention very quickly. All right, so what are we doing today? What are we doing? Nikola, Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This is what happens when you run a company that is just caught lying horrifically. It gets super hit. So that one's turning back around. Tesla's actually having a good day. Tesla, how are we looking Tesla out of the gate? Tesla out of the gate is actually showing some strength. Out of the gate, we have the Mag 7 getting some strength and also the SPY. Okay, so we're actually seeing more of a decent open than I really thought we would. But then again, we're only 6 minutes into the day, so let's just give it a second. Let's let the market just take a bit of a breather. Let's see what's going on. I don't want to get too crazy with it. But on that note, I am ready to go. I am ready to rip it. I have my accounts ready here. We're ready to trade. We're ready to rip. Let me just make sure I actually... Okay, I did properly today, turn everything on. Oop, I almost have the wrong order type. So I'm ready to go. I'm not going to trade this early. Just so you know, we are below VWAP. We have a little bit of a grind to the upside here, but let's see how everything actually plays out. We dipped the first 3 minutes. We're getting a bit of a recovery, but once again, we're not even 10 minutes into the day. I'm closely watching Meta. I'm closely watching Tesla, and now even LRCX I think is very interesting. RUM is having a decent opening, about 1%. Tesla's up about 1.2. Bitcoin's up about 1.6, 96.5. Overall, from a daily chart perspective, we're kind of at like a confusing point of does the market want to keep going or not? So we hit a new all-time high yesterday in the SPY ETF, and everyone's kind of looking around saying, all right, do we want to like really hold this trend line breakout that we had? Do we want to keep going? Like everyone's kind of looking left, looking right, trying to consider what everyone else is going to do. As of right now, based on this setup, once again, shout out to Edgeville. The major thing I could tell you is the chance of us reverting all the way back down to last week's low, 598.51 this week is very low. In fact, the odds of that happening are only 8.7%. So if you're like, I don't know about playing this, but maybe you want to do something like selling puts, that a put credit spread right now, as long as you are receiving more than 10%, really 8.7, that's a positive expected value trade. That's something you could do if you're like, I don't want to play long, I don't want to chase it, but I still want to be neutral / bullish. That's definitely an advantage you could take. You could be more aggressive and play the bounce off this. But I do want to let you know that yesterday it was reported that someone bought a lot of VIX volatility. They bought a lot of VIX calls for the March monthlies. So please remember that. And I also want to remind you that right now, more patience is probably better than less patience, because remember, volatility is expiring today. On OPEX weeks, when you have a bunch of options expiring this Friday, the volatility contracts expire 2 days earlier, as in today. So that is something that you might want to be paying attention to, because who knows, VIX might be getting a little bit crazy. Probably worthwhile to set up some alerts or just kind of check in on it every once in a while. But Meta going down, I'm enjoying that play, and I'm just trying to keep myself calm, cool, collected. Let's do a quick sanity check of what side you should be biased towards. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, and the 30-minute are all bearish. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, and the 30-minute are all bearish, but the 5-minute on the Qs we're just testing, so it might be a failed test. So the overall price action, not looking the best. Now, if we were to go to the 1 minute, it looks like it's kind of breaking down. Let's see if we're getting higher highs, higher lows. Have to go to the 15-second just because we don't have that much data. We're at this key level. We opened at the key level that I called out to you before market even opened. We dipped. We came right back up to it. The question is it going to fail? Is it getting rejected right here, smacked off this level? That could potentially be very much what's happening. So watching for higher highs, higher lows. Right now, we have lower highs and we have higher lows. So a little bit of a consolidation. Theoretically, you could call this a trend line breakdown, but we really don't have the most data to be going off of on that particular one. The next thing you could see is VWAP. Hang on, I'm just switching up the tick chart so we can get a little bit more drilled into this. What are we doing? We might be breaking down on VWAP right here. Do I want to take this trade? All right, the only other thing I need to do is check. All right, we see options tilting a little, mag 7. So everything was looking good until about 9:36. And then now we're seeing weakness. Tesla's actually still legitimately looking good. I had this up because I wanted to see if there's more. Oh, there's still profit taking going on Meta. But the Mag 7's getting hit. The SPY's indecisive. The NASDAQ, same thing. Everything was trying to recover for about the first 9-ish minutes. And now we're seeing a little bit of weakness. We're seeing a little bit of weakness right here. It seems like they're trying to do this retest. All right, this might be setting us up for a nice pennant to play off of, maybe a little bit of a flag. We have lower highs, higher lows. So obviously I'll be closely watching this structure. You know what? Maybe I should go back out to the 500 tick, just so I could see this full structure here. Where's the market open? 930's there. So it did actually, the NASDAQ did make, you know what? I'll watch this structure. I'm looking at this trend line to potentially play. Obviously, I really kind of only want to play it, though, if I also see options dipping, which the S&P actually, the delta just hit a fresh high. So I do want to, we're seeing already a little bit of whippiness this morning. Okay, what does that mean? I don't know what was over here right at market open. That probably does relate to vol expiration. But since then, if we just start at like 931, we are seeing that grind to the upside. The Mag 7 was getting hit, kind of bounced back. Meta, you know what? I'll just shut that down for now and just not to confuse anyone. All right, what are we actually doing? Huh. Is this breaking down right here? Are we breaking down or are we getting saved? Are we breaking down or are we getting saved, folks? NASDAQ's getting hit. All right, I'm taking a shot at it. I'm taking a shot at this trend line breakdown.
Order filled.
Let me review why I'm getting into this. Obviously, I saw the NASDAQ kind of failing right here at yesterday's high. Watching this trend line, just trying to play off of it. Tesla strong, but I see there's some weakness in Meta. Kind of watching this trend line here in the SPY. I wish there was a bit more weakness in the SPY. But it seems like a very similar setup to yesterday. And I know yesterday around 9:40, that's when things really started to fail. Mag 7, I like this weakness. Obviously, it's popping now. Maybe I should check in on what this is actually all about. Puts are kind of flat. Calls were sold, being purchased. I see the SPYs flattening out, so kind of watching that structure. Let me go to the 30-second. Okay, this is now just looking messed up. Do I need to go back to the 5-second? I want all the data. I want all the data. So trying to trade with the overall trend, kind of a fake out breakdown, that bounce, a fake out breakout. We're just kind of elongating. Here we go. This is the pennant I'm looking to break down. So lower highs, higher lows, that's a consolidation pattern. So now you're trying to make a bet. Which way do you think the consolidation is going to break? I generally err on the side of options flow and also EMAs. EMA, bearish, 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 bearish. I would like more weakness there, but I guess we're not going to get it. But we're also seeing some funky things play out. Am I even in the green? Barely. Barely. All right. Well, I definitely don't want that as my risk point. So playing a little bit of a technical structure, playing a little bit of just a flow, and we're going to see how this goes today. We're in it, and cheers to me. I actually got this to fire properly. I think. I don't know. It's trading on some accounts, but not on other accounts. Did I just blow those out? Is that what that is? We're going to see if this breakdown is actually going to hold or not. We're going to see. We're going to see. I wish the option... Mag 7's kind of moving against me. What's interesting is the Mag 7's moving against me because Tesla's so strong, like right here. If you look at this flow on Mag 7, it's not the whole Mag 7. It's Tesla. Tesla is just ripping right now. While if we look at the other ones, Apple's flat. Microsoft is flat. Meta is actually down. Amazon was up and just gave it back. Netflix is just down, down, down. And Google is also just flat. So what we're seeing in the Mag 7 is not really the Mag 7. It is specifically Tesla. It is Tesla that's giving it this. While if you look at the NASDAQ as a whole, it's telling us a different story. So sometimes you have to decipher what is actually moving it in one direction or the other. If it was all Mag 7 plays looking that strong, yeah, obviously I wouldn't have taken the play. But it's like the only reason the Mag 7 options flow looks this strong is because Tesla is absurdly strong. Speaking of which, what is going on with Tesla? Tesla, geez. This might be a good time. There might be a little bit of a reversion here up to 380. You could sell some puts at 330, but it looks like it's still trying to keep going with that higher highs, higher lows. The only word of caution here is be careful because the EMAs, like it still is in an overall downtrend. But all I could tell you right now in real time is that options flow is very strong. It is very, very strong. People are closing puts. They're buying calls. They're buying actually calls for this Friday. We definitely are seeing some interesting stuff play out right here. But once again, specific to Tesla, right now we are not seeing that in the rest. Like, I mean, you can see the rest of the Mag 7's actually turning. And right here, the NASDAQ is giving us a little bit more information. The NASDAQ actually just came off a Delta low reading of the day. The SPY is holding. Weird print here at the start. I assume this relates to what we saw from vol. So I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm looking for this trend line to snap. Tesla's absurdly strong. Meta did snap 700, but it caught itself. So this is my major watch right now. Is the SPY going to snap here? And just to tie this back, where are we at? Nope, we have not broken the range. Watching this overall structure. Lower highs, higher lows. Which way is it going to break? I'm wondering at the flow, but it seems to really be struggling at this key options level. Tesla, daily chart breakout, actually. If Tesla wasn't doing this, the NASDAQ would be far worse off right now. The SPY would be far worse off right now. It is Tesla that's giving this a bit of a savings grace from touching probably 6,110 would be maybe the first support, just because we saw that as so much support yesterday. But then probably 6,000 flat is like 6,100 flat is like the real level. But the SPY seemingly bouncing off of this. What's it doing here? We're still in the consolidation or maybe attempting to break out right here. SPY's trying to. The Qs are not following suit. The NASDAQ is telling us a completely different story, which is interesting because Tesla's like the absurdly strong one. Financials have also been strong for those of you who are also interested in other sectors. XLF is the financial subsector of the S&P 500. Very, very strong. So right now, seeing a big disparity between the SPY and the Qs. The NASDAQ, the option flow was sold, bounced, and then it got pretty bad at 939, has not really recovered. The SPY, on the other hand, I don't know what this first bar was. My knee-jerk reaction is it had somehow to relate to the VIX expiration right at market open. So it's kind of messing up how things look, but overall a slight trend to the upside. And then back to the Mag 7, which once again is only looking good because of Tesla. Tesla's flow is not stopping. Tesla is ripping right now. Holy crap. That is a lot of aggression in the options market on Tesla. A lot of aggression. It's up 2.9%. Holy guacamole, Batman. I honestly think this means that the next stop could be about 375-ish, 380-ish, like kind of this breakdown level from the start of the year. That's where I'd be watching. An overshoot target would be 380. I'm not playing it right now just because I'm busy in some other plays. Like I don't want to be long on Tesla if I think the overall market is showing a bit of weakness. So I like the meta play a little bit more, but it looks like the SPY just got its breakdown and the Qs are following suit. So I am up on this play as of now, at least. All right. Come on, keep cooking for me. I just need a nice win here. This is a 2 standard deviation move, so there might be a bounce at this point. I got to be a bit careful. So we got this trend line breakdown. I explained the whole thing. I explained the whole reasoning to you. I don't think anyone should be surprised. I'm just a bit worried of, are we going to bounce off of this? This is a 2 standard deviation move, i.e. not the most common. Oh, okay, hang on. I do have an update here on options for you. We see the SPY options just took a hit. Is it going to be able to bounce out of it? Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah, right there. We got a bit of a hit on the Mag 7. So everything took a little bit of a hit. Dude, should I just have taken my profits right at that level? Right when we hit this? I'm going to give it a second. Maybe I could drill into this and get a little bit more of a fine-tuned view. As you guys know, if you've watched me trade at all, you know my first goal is to aggressively move my stop to break even. So that's what I'll attempt to do. But the first thing I should do is move this to a realistic level, which I could bring this down now to 10. All right, so I'm short at 22,100 and like 179.5. Right now, my risk, I'm going to move it to 205. So risking about 25 points, which is about $500. My maximum favorable move was about 35-ish, 25-ish, now 25-ish. Sorry, did some poor mental math there. But let's see. I'm kicking myself because this 2 standard deviation move, the odds of reverting off of that are pretty high. I could have got out there and then gone long again. We're going to give it a second. I could have reacted a little bit faster. Things are appearing weak now. The SPY broke down from its trend line. The Qs broke down from its trend line. I'm going to give it a second to cook because if Tesla stops this monstrous push, I don't think there's much supporting the market right here. So let me just give this a second to figure out what in the world I should do. I'm roughly break even. I was up, I don't know, I was up 25 points. I like to go break even around 30. So it wasn't quite there yet. I can't kick myself. Sometimes there's the unlucky movement, unlucky variance in the market. So I'm going to let this cook. But according to the NASDAQ options flow, the right side is to be bearish. According to the SPY options flow, ever since 949, the right side is bearish. The Mag 7 is only looking good because of Tesla, and even that just recently stopped. Of course, it could restart at any time. But the very strong one of the day is Tesla. Seems to have peaked out at 949. If you're going to be chasing this, I wouldn't at all recommend chasing it until you actually see other bulls joining the market. I wouldn't just be the one arbitrarily buying. I'd be with the one saying, oh, okay, the options flow is turned back on. But That's how I personally view it. Obviously, I'm not your mom, so you could do what you want. And I'm also looking for, I mean, I would love for Meta to get back down to 675, 650. Am I about to get screwed here? 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bearish, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bearish. So I'm on the right side of that trend. We got a little fake out breakout here in the S&P 500, and then we had a legit breakdown. Is it going to recover, or is this officially going to be the lower high? We did get a lower low here at 949. So this trend obviously broke in the favor of the bears as we kind of predicted, but there wasn't really much follow through. If anything, there were just buyers here sitting right at the intraday low. So looking at the height of this bounce, if we bounce all the way back up, I would say, uh-oh, the bulls are back in control, and just uh-oh for my, like, the view of my trade. But if we start to fail here, it's just an official lower high, and then I'd be looking for it to take out 6,112. Not the biggest fan of this bounce. I was green. Now I'm back to slightly red, effectively break even right here at 538. But we're going to see. Tesla's still showing some strength. Meta's going flat, but I'm still looking for more profit taking to happen. The options went flat, actually. What is this one? This is the max. Dude, it's just Tesla. Tesla's the strong guy of the day. Wow. Tesla's going from 354 to 364 like it's nothing. Like it's hot butter. And it's both. It's people selling puts and buying calls. It's a lack of bearishness and aggressive bullishness. Coming into the turn of the hour, we have the SPY. I mean, we're about 5 minutes out, but we're kind of back to this structure. Almost like this fake out breakdown. Maybe it's trying to retest this key options level. We're going to see how it reacts there. I feel pretty freaking dumb for not taking the profit where I knew I probably should have taken that profit. And I'm talking about right when we had this 2 standard deviation move at 949 right here. Right on this recovery, that probably would have been a good time to lock it in. And that would have been 20 points, like not the craziest trade, but obviously making some monies. But like we just bounced so aggressively off of it. And now I basically pray that this Tesla aggression in the tech sector stops. All right, we're going to see. We puked for 2 minutes and then it tried to recover. We're getting a little bit whippy. Overall trend is still lower highs and lower lows on both the SPY and the Qs. Tough to be bullish at this exact moment. If Tesla stops, I think that's when things drop. So I'm kind of closely watching this. We got a little bit of a drop here. I'm back to break even. So maybe it could just take out like this recent low at 952. That'd make me feel a little bit more comfortable about what in the world's going on. The SPY was hit, recovered at 952. The Mag 7, potentially the Delta Flow putting in a lower high. So watching to see if this continues to the downside. So just patience. I believe I'm on the right side of it. Well, I guess I can't say that. I believe I've made a good decision. That's what trading is about. It's about making good decisions. Now, do good decisions make money? Ideally, but not all the times. I believe I'm trading with enough things like favoring my particular trade that I don't mind the decision at all. What is key from here is honestly just quality risk management. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And then really at the turn of the hour, we could kind of go back to Edgeful and start looking at the range breakout statistics. But man, like without Tesla popping today, I don't think the market would be doing that well. XLE, the energy sector is looking fine. Financial sector is looking fine. Utilities are actually looking pretty good. Industrials are fine. Healthcare was fine, taking a hit. Real estate is actually trying to turn back around. Discretionary is actually looking good. Consumer staples looking fine. It's a lot of things just looking fine right now. And the tech sector is actually the weakest, but it's not that weak because of how much Tesla's weighted and Tesla popping 3%. While there's not much more going on. I mean, if we look at the heat map right now of the S&P 500, I think Tesla is the one that clearly stands out in the major tech names. Healthcare is having a good day, very green down there. And energy, the energy sector down here where my head's probably blocking it, also having a pretty good day. Interessante. XLK is starting to go a little bit more I want to see Meta go. I want to see Meta go. Once again, I'm actually invested in Meta in the long term. I'm saying I wanted to go for my short-term puts and then an opportunity to get more shares cheaply. I don't want to be buying at the all-time high. So I think it's reasonable if it doesn't hold 700 to push 690. We just see some previous levels there and then past that 675. So that's what I'll be watching. SPY putting in that lower high, Q's putting in that lower high. And it looks like this is breaking in my direction, so I should probably pay attention a bit more. This time around, I'm going to be careful. Before, when I was like, oh, dude, should I have gotten out there? I should have, because then I could have been re-entering right in this zone and had a second trade if I wanted to. So I don't know. I'll journal about that. I'll cry about that later. But for now, I just need to manage the position that is in front of me. Come on. Can we just get this puke? Can we just get this puke? I'm up, but just barely. I'm up, but just barely. Some people are commenting Microsoft. Microsoft not doing much. Apple not doing much. Netflix not doing much. Amazon had a bad day yesterday. Not the best day today. ASML, not the best day today. Broadcom, not the best day. SMCI, it's up. SMCI is up another 3.8%. I still find that one questionable just because of the allegations against it. I don't really like where there's smoke, there's generally fire. Oh, what else do we have? I mean, Tesla's the clear winner of the day, and then Nikola's the clear loser. So you have Tesla having a nice day and Nikola slaughtered down 40%. I'm surprised it's bouncing at all. Just quick update. We have another rejection at the key options level. This is why you need to know how to read the option chain, because it just right here, bounced, rejected. This huge struggle, bouncing right back up. Guess where it's getting rejected? Right at the, once again, the key options level. So very important to know how to read the option chain, because it's just a lifesaver of just knowing what side to be on. It's a lifesaver. All right, back to the options flow. Mag 7 trying to bounce a little bit. The NASDAQ intraday low. SPY just flat, not really doing anything. So a little bit of a mixed situation. The NASDAQ is very weak. The NASDAQ, which is the NASDAQ structure, the combination of NDX and QQQ, literally the lowest of the day. But then the MAG 7 thought to have a huge sway over it, looking deep, like it's an ugly trend, but it is trending up. And then the SPY is just flat. Like it was up, then it got hit, then it bounced, not knowing what to do. So then we could just revert to basic price analysis, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute bearish, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute bearish. So, okay, don't necessarily want to be on the bullish side when I'm seeing that. And just kind of watching this. We have not broken the high or the low yet, so we can't use the edgeful stats on that, but we can use the opening range breakout and breakdown. So right here, breakdown, yes. So right here, the orb, the 15-minute opening range, the high and the low of the first 15 minutes, that was a breakdown, generally a little bit more favoring the bears. But there are decent stats of at least at some point throughout the trading day touching the other side of the range. So there's a couple things you can glean from that information. Tesla catching another pop. Meta. I'm looking for Meta to break. I'm going to set up an alert there. 698.38. Let's go, Meta. The SPY's trying to get going, but the Qs are keeping it down today. The only good tech play I'm really seeing right now, Tesla. Come on, Qs. Come on, make me that money. 60. So what I'll do is if we get all the way down to this level that I've been attempting to watch like a hawk, which is a 2 standard deviation move, I would love for us to touch that so I could move my stop to break even, so I could take all my risk off the table, which also not only is taking all the risk off the table, but it's putting my stop at a recent high, which is also another positive thing to do. So I think there's 2 things aligning to moving my stop. I just need a little bit of a push down to here. That's what I'm looking for. Come on. Come on, just give me a little bit of a push. Give me a little bit of a lot of a push. A little bit of a lot of a bit of a push. A little bit of a lot of bit of a push. A little bit of a lot of bit of a push. Tesla's still going. Palantir taking a breather after hitting a new all-time high yesterday. Apple's turning Microsoft. Yeah, the only strength I'm really seeing is Tesla when it comes to like the popular tech names. Dude, did it do it again? Look, it just keeps getting to that move. All right. Well, I can't be stupid now. I have to move my stop to break even. All right. So all risk is off the table. I'm currently up $600, $800. Worst case situation for me. Worst case situation is I'm just break even. I am no longer risking money. I am doing what I'm doing when I'm trading well. The question here, is it going to be like before where it just bounces right off of it? Which is I got to be a little bit more specific with my exit. I got to read the vibes of the market here. Got to read the vibes of the market. Is it going to bounce? Come on, break it down. Break it down, Tonto. Break it down, Tonto. Come on. Come on, snap it. Snap it. Don't bounce out of here. Is it going to bounce out? Do I want to close it? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. What is the options flow looking like? Come on. Once again, I'm just doing this to finesse the situation of ideal profit. Dude, it is bouncing out right again. Come on. Let's see if the bounce fails. The market, we just turned. We did get a fresh low. We did get a fresh low. Come on. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. So the goal here is I'm just going to keep moving my stop lower and lower. I was just very concerned about this bounce. But come on. Come on. Keep going. Keep it going. Where's the SPX? So very realistically, SPX could come down to 6,100, which is about another full dollar in the SPY. So that would put the SPY in about the low 608s, like 608.30-ish is the SPX equivalent to us coming to this level. So if I could catch that move, I would like it. All right, Meta seems to wanting to break down, which would be awesome for my play. Where are we at on Meta? Meta. Dude, this one's cooking. Up a nice 2.6K, 4.3 on the day. Got into those bad boys at 790, currently trading at 1050. That one is working out well. SPY is pushing. Qs are pushing. Come on, Tonto. Come on, Tonto. All right. What can I do here? Should I sell premium? Meta's about to hit a low. Tesla, it's holding. It's not breaking down. It just has gone flat ever since it hit 694. My concern is this stuff right here. Bounce. Come on. No, don't bounce that much. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Fail. Drop, 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 drop. All right. I moved my stop down to just right above some of these recent highs. So no matter what, I'm guaranteeing myself right around, I think just below $500. So no matter what, I'm making it. But if I can catch this trend, which a lot of the times it's not trending and you're not going to catch it, but every so often you might be able to catch that big move. You have to be mentally prepared, knowing that percentage wise, it doesn't happen often. It's kind of, I always use the analogy of like fishing. So right now, I got free bait. You know, it's not going to cost me anything. No matter what, I'm catching at least a good largemouth bass. But I'm putting myself in the situation that if it really wants to go, if we really want to get this breakdown, that I'll be able to ride it. So I feel like I'm making the good decisions. It feels like it's coming right back up for me. I'm being aggressive with the stop movement. Technically, what my strategy calls for, I could just keep it right around, I don't know, like 78, and no matter what, just be like, okay, it gives me that opportunity to ride it more. I was aggressive with the movement. Oh, is that the smart move? Is that like, I am getting a little freaked out by the fact that we're just keep bouncing off this. But hey, it is what it is. The SPY. Where's SPX? SPX. We're failing at that trend line again. Once again, the very real shot of us testing 6,100 today, which because of that, where's the options flow at right now? SPY's kind of fine. The Mag 7's actually now puking. The NASDAQ did puke, bounced. I want to try to go for this, like, especially because my accounts are so incredibly beat up. Like, I want to go for that big runner play, but I just need to be smart about it. I need to be smart about it. And actually, speaking of big runner plays, come on. SPX. Management. All right, don't really need this. Holy shit. Oh, I thought this said 8,000. I was like, wow, dude. It could break. We do have the upside gap filled to 30. SPY, fresh low. Meta doesn't know if it actually wants to break down. SPY is all over the place. The vol's picking up. This, when you have options expiration, even this, look at, we dipped right below. Is this the point for me to get out? Should I be getting out right here on this recovery? It's up about 1,000. It was up 1,000, more than 1,000 for each account. How's options flow? Options flow. Options flow. Options flow. Options flow. NASDAQ is bouncing. SPY is looking weak though. I don't want to get out if the SPY is looking. Look at it, it's just dumping in real time. It's dumping in real time. I don't need to get out if the SPY is dumping in real time, right? We have Meta, but Tesla's picking up over here. I'm just watching this potential recovery. All right, we'll throw that order out. We'll see what we could do. Working. All right, got a little bit of a fill there. If you're in the Discord, I just got a fill on an early position. I'll keep you updated about it. Taking a quick screenshot. Once again, if you want some of these trades in real time, or I should say the rest of the trades in real time, you could join the Discord for free with that code Goonie. I'm just doing my fastest to upload this while trying to not screw with my position. Trying to not over-engineer my decision-making here. Dude, this is taking forever to load. Come on. All right, where is it? Thick trades. Where is thick? Okay, that trade's in there. That trade is in there. And actually, Piper also just fired. What do we have going on today, team? Updates. Where are we at? All right, if you are on the Discord, everything, today's in the 19th, right? All right. Oh, what the fuck? All right. It is, why does it look so ugly? What did I do? All right, I'm just making it look better. All right, I think that's cleaner to read. All right, I put it in there. Piper fired off. Those are in there now. Cool. That's good. I'm in my position. I'm managing it. I think we're good. We're looking good, team. I mean, this market is just getting slaughtered right now. Where am I at? I'm a little worried about these bounces off of it. Should I be moving my stop? I can move it maybe to I can move it slightly to 55. This is actually now legitimately where the system is calling to have it placed. So that's making me feel a little bit better. But we're getting a bit of a bounce out of this. Should I be going for the white whale today? I don't know if today's the smartest day to do it, but if I don't get knocked out and I could catch this SPY fall all the way to 6,100, I mean, that would be a sizable move in the Qs, roughly. It's just, is it going to do it? Is it actually going to do that today? I know this is a key level. Everything about the options market is screaming 6,100 is major support. 6,110. I believe there's going to be a bit of a fight there. I mean, look at support. Yeah, there's going to be a fight here. This is where we saw the fight all day yesterday with 6,110. So that's not surprising. If it doesn't hold, though, from a risk reward perspective, this could easily dump another 10 points. If the SPY dumps, or if the SPX dumps 10 points, that's about $1 on the SPY. That will bring the SPY to about 608.25-ish, about $1.50-ish. That's going to be a good move on the Qs. That might be another $1,000 on this trade. So it's just okay, do I give it that wiggle room? I'm only thinking because we're just talking about profits right now. I want to guarantee, want to clarify. When I'm up this much, of course, I'm already moving it to break even. If anything, I'm up 25 points. I'm going to make $500 in the worst case scenario. I'm not talking about letting this go to zero or letting it horrifically turn against me. The question is, how much wiggle room do I want to give it to see if the market is actually going to snap down to 6,100 right here, kind of where yesterday's low was. Yes, we have the key options level. It's a big battle right now, and there's no guarantee. And this is just the game of odds. In fact, it might be making the decision for me pretty soon here. I do like it a little bit better. I like 57 better than 55 just because of this recent high here at 10:03. Feels like it's, bouncing right out of that. Is it coming for me? Is it coming for me, or am I gonna be on the right side of Lady Luck? SPY just got a huge pop in options. Let me show you what's going on here. SPY right there, starting at 10.15. We got the pop. Nasdaq's even swinging around. Yeah, this is starting to turn on me, folks. The Mag 7 popped, and that's even now building up. This feels like it's coming for me. Yep. All right.
Order canceled.
So 500 locked in on 20 accounts and then another bunch of accounts. So solid trade. I try to give it a shot to go longer, and you never know how it's going to go. You never know, and that's why you have to protect yourself. So I took a shot at it. I took an attempt at it. It just, sometimes you have to protect it. And with this, I mean, with these types of crazy bounces, you just don't know, because if it keeps going, it could easily just keep going. And then all of a sudden you have a good trade, which you could have still gotten out for green to break even. And then sometimes you go on tilt and it gets even worse. But this was just a huge pop there, and you never know if there's going to be a follow through or continuation. So it's just easier to keep doing that trailing stop. And as I alluded to getting into the play, that's, in my opinion, the best way to do it, because, it's going to happen a lot that it comes back and hits your stop, but every so often, you catch that big trending move. and it just came up too much. It took out this recent high at 10.07. I was watching that. If it kept with this trend, I could have ideally, but kept riding it. But this pop right here on the options on SPX, this swing around, it kind of screwed me. Even on Mag 7, I think Tesla's still just showing a little bit too much strength. At least Meta's showing weakness for me, so that plays printing. But had the SPY not popped so much, had there not been so much, call buying and put selling, but someone started aggressively buying 0DT calls, most likely off of this 6,111 right here. Just support. So they bought it. It caused it to pop. It had enough of a positive effect on the Qs to make a fresh high on the 1 minute, taking out that recent high. That was my risk. That's good decision making. What's the trading method you're using? Mine? I don't know. It's not a name for it. It's called the trading system of a lot of the time making a little bit of money and occasionally blowing out my entire account and getting absurdly pissed. So I do think it keeps going down, like just because 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute red, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute red. The Mag 7's not making fresh highs. Every time it pumps, it kind of gets smacked early. Same thing with the S&P 500. It looks like it wants to make a new high and then it gets hit. So I still think the bears are in control for various reasons. Do I want... I could reshort right here and just put my risk as this recent high. That's an option. I could risk a portion, like if I really am that confident of this puke. Here, let me quickly look at what the fuck is going on. So Mag 7's taking a hit again. The SPY, not so much. The SPY, look where it ran right up to. Not only where we were at a technical level, but it just keeps getting rejected at this options level. So I'm kind of curious about where this next low is. Like, is it going to be a higher low, or is this just a fake out and we still have this pattern of, I guess we could draw this trend line now. Yeah, it's just perfect lower high, lower high. So we still have lower highs, but we have equivalent lows. So which way is that going to break? Which way are we going to break? Kind of watching this. Tesla's looking so incredibly strong. That's fascinating. Congrats to you. How many of you guys actually caught Tesla today? How many of you caught... are we going to snap here? Just in case. Okay, I am on the 200. Kind of got wicked out there. We have the SPY potentially failing. Huge pop, kind of giving it back. The Qs. So the SPY is now coming down. The Mag 7. The NASDAQ potentially coming down as well. This just broke down. So it's risking, if I get in here, it's risking 20 points. That's $400. So just a portion of today's gain. Oh, the classic risk versus reward conundrum. Is it worth it? Yes or no? Is it worth it? Yes. All right, take profit.
Order submitted.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if this is just a fake pump. I'm looking at some options drop here. Actually, literally dropped and then picked up the second I got in because, of course, that's how it has to work. But seeing some weakness here in the Mag 7 and also seeing weakness here in the S&P 500. So hoping that this doesn't just like rip against me. Basically playing the 19th rejection off this 6,117 level, seeing that the EMA going red. So hoping that this isn't a higher low, but might be, might not be. I'll be watching accordingly. Tesla turning a little bit. What is going on with all those levels? Yeah, we gotta wait. But I see Tesla finally turning, and I guess it appears like that was the main thing keeping up the Nasdaq. So if Tesla's turning, maybe we'll actually get this turn then in the Qs. Kind of the thesis of the trade. All I could tell you is I have my risk already in. I'm just risking a portion of the profits from that first trade. Of course, I don't want it to hit, but it is what it is. Options expire today. No, they don't. I don't know where you're getting that, Mike. Volatility options expire today, but equity options expire Friday. Watching this. All right, maybe we could get a bit of a more realistic view here. I just want to see this test of 6,100 flat. This is what I'm looking for. The low yesterday was 6,099. I think there's a very real shot that we test that today. But clear rejections right at this options level. I guess we're looking to see if it can take out the current intraday low. It's 6,111. So obviously very important level to watch. But the bulls are not going down without a fight. That's for sure. They are not going down without a fight. All right. Looks like the Qs are attempting to catch themselves at 537. The SPY might be putting in a higher low right here at 1021. I'll be watching that. The options flow kind of swinging up right now on the SPY. Puked bad on the Qs. Like actually pretty freaking bad on the Qs there. Wow. Here, I'll go back to the 30-second. We don't need such a nuance. Yeah, but a little bit of a pop there. The NASDAQ also now actually at 1016, someone splashed the pot on the NASDAQ there. All right, patience. What is the potential support level for Meta? It depends. Are you technical support, option support? I mean, a clear technical support level will be the 675 low. Like that's the most recent local low. But even then, if it hits it, it's still bullish because it should. That's what happens when you rip for 20 days straight. When you go for 20 freaking days straight, it means that your support is pretty far away. And now we're just kind of consolidating. Tesla, Meta slowly bleeding. Kind of just watching this. It's just, I mean, you could actually argue that pretty much all of today has just been a chop zone because the first 3 minutes, we've been in the range of the first 3 minutes pretty much all day. Pretty much all day. So we're just waiting. Patience. The expected range on the day was low. So it's definitely living up to its standards. I mean, first, yeah. We've spent 99% of today in the range created in the first 3 minutes, probably even more. If you look at the range of the first 5 minutes, actually, that's literally the exact same range because of how big the first 3 minute range was. We're waiting. We're waiting for the bears to stop and the bulls to pick it up above 6,117, really 6,120. Might start the upside gap fill on SPX, or we're waiting for the bulls to stop and the bears to pick it up below 6,111, 6,110. Other than that, you have to wait. Tesla. I really thought the Tesla turn would put the dagger in the Qs because that seemed to be the only strong thing going on right now. Apple is dipping. Microsoft bouncing a little, but not much. Nvidia is having more of a bounce, so I guess that's kind of helping it. Broadcom not doing anything. Amazon not really doing anything. Google not really doing I'm seeing a tiny bounce in Microsoft, but a little bit more in Nvidia. That's the only major tech play I could see right now that's actually looking to the upside. There's clear bearishness. Even Tesla's giving that back. I'm still kind of watching this Meta play because this thing is just bleeding down. Where's the daily? Let me know if this range breaks one way or the other. Daily. Yeah, I mean, I see some support at 690, but it's just this. We gap down on Monday, February the 3rd, and then obviously it rallied up enough to be strong. So I think this is a clear support at 675. Like, I think that's a level people will react to. And then from there, you do have the 48 EMA at the low 650s. So, I mean, it's a large range, which kind of makes it difficult to play. But I'm only in this as long as people are still collecting their profits. If I see the call buyers return, of course I'm ditching on the play. I'm not going to stay in meta if the call buyers return. All I can tell you is we noticed it yesterday that they're starting to lock in their profits. And I said, oh, okay, I guess that's a good opportunity for me to play a little bit of a reversion. It's worked out well, but the play inherently is dependent on what other traders decide to do. That's what all of trading is. So as long as they're hitting the cash register over and over and over again, okay, great. Because if they're doing that, they're taking positive delta off the table. They're probably also removing, well, no, I don't know if it's positive gamma or negative gamma. I would have to see if they were the net buyers or net sellers. Hang on, we're seeing a bit of a pop right here. A bit of a pop. What are we doing? What are we doing? Here's the Mag 7 hit an intraday low here at 1027. We're getting a little bit of reversion out of it, but the SPY is still getting that weird grind to the upside. Lower highs and higher lows. So kind of a consolidation as much as we're seeing it literally in its own chart. So it's just this descriptive, I don't know. The options market is very descriptive of the price action, as in we're freaking going nowhere right now. Still stuck in the range that we've been stuck in all freaking day. All I could tell you is we're at resistance again. Maybe it gets smacked, maybe it doesn't. All I could tell you is we're at resistance. We're at a trend line, a down sloping trend line. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bearish, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute bearish. I don't think that this is the time to have a bullish play, just because I don't think that, well, I know that the odds don't favor the bulls today for various reasons. So I'm still going to be looking just for those low risk opportunities. Oops, is this about to knock me out? Came close. Came close for my cues. I should have waited for this trend line to snap. I should have definitely waited on this one.
Order canceled.
All right, I just manually got out a little early to save myself a couple bucks because I wanted to avoid what we're seeing right here. So I'm still going to be watching this trend line. Yeah, I just gave back my profits. Where did I actually get a fill? Knowing my luck that this is going to break down right after. Knowing my luck. Let's set up. All right, I have the trend line set up. I should have been a bit more patient. I was wondering, I thought right here when I saw a bit of red at 1018, I was like, oh, okay, it was a quick little pop. In reality, I should have known better that the potential dead cat bounces. Whoa, very happy I'm out. What just happened? Anyone got any news? What in the world is going on? Huge pop in options. Huge pop in options. What just happened? This is why you have to have a stop, folks. What in the world just happened? U.S. House Leader Scalise, the House is to vote next week on the budget. That doesn't Mexico's. That was 40 minutes ago. U.S. House Leader, no decisions, U.S. trade. Breaking, Trump eyes a bigger and better trade deal with China, according to the New York Times. Once again, the breaking news. Trump eyes a bigger and better trade deal with China. So the market reacting at first very favorably to it. Let's see if it holds. So that's the breaking news. Once again, Trump eyes a bigger and better trade deal with China, according to the New York Times. Wow, this is why you have stops in, folks. That could have been wild. Trump would like to strike a wide-ranging deal with China's Xi one that goes beyond just reworking trade relationships. So market reacting favorably to the concept of, I guess, hitting a bigger and better trade deal with China. It's crazy how just the New York Times could say something like that, and then there's such an impact on the market. Let's see if it holds. Let's see if it doesn't. Here, I'm going to mark out these recent highs just to see. Because sometimes with this news, it's quickly reverted, and other times it has like legitimate legs. Like this might be the news of the day that turns things. I mean, right here, we try to go bullish. The 10-minute tested on the NASDAQ. Things are still looking bearish, but there's kind of two ways to play it. Like, is this the thing that truly changes sentiment, or is it just completely faded and the market gets rocked? That's a whole nother potential outcome here. Trump has expressed interest in a deal that would include substantial investments and commitments from China to buy more American products. All right, we got some Trump-China news. Yeah, this is all from the New York Times, so feel free to check it out if you're into reading that kind of thing. But Trump eyes a bigger and better trade deal with China. Wow, this is, in my opinion, in an environment where like you have to be safe to your downside. You have to. Actually, what did that do to me? It actually went me, like I got such a bad fill on the pop that it made me slightly red. So obviously manageably red, but that's how bad of the fill it was. I got like a 10-point later fill just because of how volatile that was. That's crazy. Well, let's see. There's still a lot of time left in the day. Here. I marked out the intraday high. We'll mark out the intraday low. And we'll see what in the world is going on. This even caused Meta to kind of turn around. Tesla's flat on the deal. Tesla unimpacted by it. Meta's red. Palantir's red. Apple's slightly red. Nvidia's actually now in the green. Nvidia popping off that. Actually, Nvidia making a new intraday high. Tesla holding up 2.6%. All right, we'll move these up there. Palantir, Apple, Broadcom. Still a lot of red from yesterday's close till now. So intraday, things gotta pump, but we're not getting as much follow through. So this report came out at 10:30. We popped, and that was kind of it. That was kind of it as of now. Nvidia's a nice green one, but Tesla's the nicest green. That's why we have those up. But let's see how the flow is looking. So flow popped quite a bit. Now we're just flat. NASDAQ is it just going to be reverted? Is the whole thing just going to get reverted? I'm watching this trend line as best as I can. Watching the trend lines on the SPY and the Qs to see if these snap. Also attempting to watch the options flow here. Attempting. We're still below VWAP, I think is important to note. Still below VWAP. Trump would like an agreement with China to also include issues like nuclear weapons security. Are they ever going to agree to that? All right. SPY is long and strong. Mag 7, not so much. Mag 7 and the NASDAQ lagging behind. It's the rest of the market that's showing a bit more strength. Actually, there's only two good tech names right now. Energy having a pretty good day. Financials having a decent day. Utilities having a good day. Healthcare having a very good day. Consumer staples, pretty good. Consumer discretionary, fine. Real estate, fine. Materials, nothing. Industrials, I just wanted to check that again. Yeah, I mean, tech is clearly the weak sector of the day, like without a doubt. Without a doubt, it is the weak sector of the day, and things were all trending down until this news with Trump. Is there anything new on that? Trump would like it? Yeah, no. Okay, so the last thing was on the nuclear security. Once again, this is all coming out literally right at 10:30. This pop right here. pop that made a new intraday high on the SPY and caused the Qs to actually switch its own trend. This is just another very, very sobering reminder that in the environment we're in right now, like one update, one tweet, one announcement, one offhanded comment can really change the market. You don't want to get caught in one of those, which is why it's so important to have profit targets are important, but I would say having stops without a doubt. Even that, my stop, I had a stop set. It still gave me a 10-point worse fill. And even if it didn't, I would be worse off right now. So just be careful. Be careful. We are I don't think this is going to be changing anytime soon. SPX, where did SPX actually pop to on that? So we broke the range. Now I'm curious if we're going to come back into this range. If we come back into this range, I would say that's safe to interpret that the market's actually it's nothing. And we're just back to where we were. So we got this pop at 10:30. We went from 116 up to 124. That's an 8-point pop. That's a solid pop. But if it fails and we come right back in there, not only does it show the power of this trend line, it shows the power of this options level, but it's also saying that the market just doesn't really care about this news. It's just going to consume it. Can I get a blessed enlightenment on WRD? What is WRD? We ride? I have no idea what this is. And it just started trading. I wouldn't touch it at all. I have no idea what this company is. Autonomous driving technology platform. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Robo-taxi, robo-bus, robo-van. But the fact that it just started trading means I wouldn't touch it. And also at these levels, I mean, if I had to play it right now, I would short it. I'd risk 44 and I'd play this downside gap fill. But I guess there was recently news, but I wouldn't touch it because the chart's ugly. There's not much data. I don't know anything about it. But just from the chart pattern itself, it's more favorable to play to the downside than to the upside with the current risk to reward. So hope you wanted an enlightenment on the bear case, because I would not be bullish at those levels. Not at all. Nvidia's holding, Tesla's kind of holding. I'm just hoping Meta can actually close below 700, so I'm kind of closely watching that, but we're going to see. I am potentially, if the options market calls for it, which seemingly not right now. Wow, we're actually still seeing continued strength in the options market. If the options market turns and price turns, I will be looking to play the reversion back into the old mighty range box. The range that we had from 9:30 to 10:30, the hour range we had. Oh, speaking of range breakouts, we actually now probably have more right here. You get the double orb. Yes. The gap fill, not filled, still buy bullish to the upside. That's on SPX, just to the previous day's close, not the true gaps. The opening candle 60-minute is calling bearish. The IB is generally the first hour. So you have all these really cool things that are still currently in play. So highly recommend you checking it out. Remember, you can check out Edgeful yourself, get all those market insights for free. Just make sure to use that link pinned to the top of chat. That's how you can get your free trial. You got to trade with math. You got to trade with stats. You got to trade with the odds of the situation. If you're just trading off of pure gut, it's unfortunately only a matter of time before you completely blow out. So check out Edgeful, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And if you want to lower your risk, you can trade with someone else's money, which is exactly what I'm doing right here. All the money I'm trading with, I lower my risk by, these accounts are Apex. I just want to call this out. If you use that code Goonie, it's only 15 hours left to get 80% off. So right now to take the test, it'll be like $33, $34, relatively cheap. So if you want to get in on cheap accounts, it lasts for 15 hours. You can choose whatever account size you like. I think 50K is my preferred. Recently, I've been using some bigger ones, but I've tried all of them. But instead of paying $167 right now, you could pay $33, $34-ish dollars. Just make sure you use that code Goonie, Goonie, and that's how you'll get access to the 80% off. But once again, just it does end tonight, which is why I'm bringing it to your attention. That's also in the description of the video. You know what? I'll pin that to the top of chat now that we're talking about it, just in case you guys want to get on that. There we go. Pinned, replace pinned. All right, we did this, replace pin. All right, so I switched out the edgeful one, which is still in the description of the description of the video, but I guess there's a little bit of urgency to this one because there's only 15 hours left. So to get the 80% off deal, like I said, use the accounts you want. I use Rhythmic, but if you want to use Tradeovate, feel free. Here's all the things you could trade, and been working well for me so far. How much? I think I've made 200,000 from the life of these particular accounts, which I started at the beginning of December. So I'm 2.5 months in, and I was net in. The full cost for me was 2,700. So in terms of risk reward, 2,700 to return a 200K like into my bank account. That's a phenomenal risk to reward. The Qs are picking up, showing a bit of life. I'm very, very happy I had my stops set because I would have been way worse off right now. Way worse off. I would have been down an additional, I'd be down 500. I'd be down 600, something like that. So watching to see how high this bounces. The SPY's really stalled out. Really stalled out. But what's weird is prices stalled out, but options are still picking up. Mag 7 stalled out. NASDAQ kind of stalled out. So the options flow just not really doing anything. Not really doing anything. All right. Is there any follow-up on that breaking news? No, there isn't. So it seems like the Trump-China news has kind of calmed down. I'm just double-checking. The Qs took out the high from that announcement, and now the next actual high to take out the recent local high would be at 9:45 this morning. And we're actually getting up to VWAP. This might be kind of an intraday trend reversal type of a situation on the Qs if they could keep pushing. The 5-minute trying to go bullish on the S&P 500. The 10-minute tested and got smacked. The 5-minute is about to test on the NASDAQ. So in the short term, as a day trader, as a scalp trader, if you're trading on the intraday period, the bears are still technically in control, but we might, if it keeps going, we might be witnessing a trend reversal. The SPY is completely flattened out. NVIDIA is now flattened out. I was hoping that Meta would not be breaching 700, so kind of watching that, kind of watching these trend lines, but we just got to wait for the move. You can't really force a move if the market, it might be like yesterday, where just like nothing's going on. So you just be patient. Let those opportunities set up for you. I know it's tough because when you're watching it, you kind of like want to do something. But with that type of mindset, it could just end so horribly. So got to be careful there. But basically, we got this pop at 10:30. It's settled. Now we're flat. We're not really getting follow through. For a second there, I thought it was going to dip right back into the box and kind of get sucked into it. That didn't happen. It's holding about 5-ish points above. We saw a struggle. Actually, we might be able to track a little bit of where it could struggle on an intraday basis. Log in. This is GexSpot, also in the description if you're curious. Let's see where we're seeing some key gamma levels. So, 6,120 happens to be the biggest gamma level currently on the market. So no surprise that it is struggling there. If it does push it, you could watch 6,130. That's another key level. If it gets rejected here, we might be falling back to 6,110, maybe 105, somewhere in this region. But right here, key gamma level. This is the price movement on the left side. So just kind of waiting to see how that plays out. And then, what just happened? We got something. The Qs are now going very interesting. So the Qs are more willing, I guess, to flip trend here. And actually, we're now testing VWAP, so we're literally right back. Dude, I'm so incredibly happy that I had those stops on the chart. So incredibly happy. All right, the Qs went from making lower highs and lower lows to now higher highs and higher lows. So maybe a weird V-shaped recovery starting at 10:10, but really getting going at that 10:30 announcement. But the SPY, oddly enough, not doing anything right now. What is pushing the Qs? It's not even NVIDIA. Apple's bouncing a little bit. Microsoft's bouncing a little bit. Broadcom's not doing much. Palantir's bouncing, but that wouldn't really be moving the Qs that much. It's just not weighted that heavily. Amazon got a little bit of a pop. Netflix is kind of getting a pop. Coin's actually getting hit. Coin's been looking pretty bad. Qualcomm. Google's getting a pop on this. Interesting. Oh, wow. Look at this. It did actually successfully. We're back above VWAP now. We're kind of back in this neutral zone. What a recovery. What a freaking recovery, man. What a recovery we got going there. Wow. Impressive. Let's see how much legs there are to this one. It just pumped. SPY still. What's weird was the SPY was the one trying to stay stronger, and now it's faltering. While the Qs were the weaker one, it almost flipped what's dominant now. Very interesting. I would love for Meta to come back and snap 695 and touch that 690 level. But we'll see. Google got a nice pump. Maybe remember how not that long ago China announced that they're kind of looking into Google, like potential antitrust stuff. Maybe the market is interpreting the positive news between President Xi Jinping and President Donald Trump to be good, and Apple's getting a pop. But you would think we would have seen the same thing with Apple, because they kind of targeted China as a government, targeted those two companies. Google's getting a pop. Apple isn't. Qualcomm swinging back around. ASML, DJT, Coin, Netflix, nice pop there. Amazon getting faded. Broadcom, Microsoft, Apple, Palantir, decent pop, still red on the day, but did hit a new all-time high yesterday. Nvidia, Tesla, actually Tesla is now potentially reversing course. If it takes out 362, that's a fresh low, and we went from higher highs to higher highs and higher lows to lower highs and lower lows. So watch that 362 level if you're on like an intraday basis trading old Tesla there. Be careful on that. Meta's turning back around. Nvidia is now turning into the strong one intraday. Google was strong. SPX frozen out 6,120. So it just went from one range to get popped up to just get stuck in another range. So where are we at with respect to this? The path of least resistance, we're calling for 6130, maybe 6135. Or on the downside, we're talking just below 6,100. Right here is where the gamma goes from negative to positive. It is at 6130, which is also yesterday's close. So that might serve as some serious resistance for technical reasons, for options reasons. 6,100, a lot of puts active at that level. They are sold puts though. So if those players decide to lock in their premium on this pop, that would actually make the delta drop. So be careful about that. What do we have here? Open interest change. Do we have any big updates of what levels people are playing today? 6,150, 30. So the biggest put level is still 6,100. The biggest call level is still 6,130 for the volume on the day. And then you could see most of this is sold calls. This is probably the protection leg of some sort of like spread out here. I don't think people are actually aggressively playing that today. Like I said, probably just the spread, but lots of sold puts, lots of sold calls. We're not seeing aggressive call buying or aggressive put buying either way, which is why we're seeing so much of like a range bound. And there's the expectation from here is a 15-point move, which is about 0.2% from where we are. Which, how does that actually look? A 15-point move. SPX might be breaking down. Meta's kind of turning, but a 15-point move puts us up at 35 or down at 105, kind of fully expected. SPY might be turning here, team. Teamity, team. We might be coming back into this range that was established throughout the day. All right, I'm getting rid of all these unnecessary. Let's go to the 3 minutes just to clean this up. So range bound, pop on the Trump news, potentially getting faded. Nasdaq was high, giving a little bit of it back. The Mag 7 specifically, same thing, got faded, pop, now flat. The SPY potentially popping here. 5-minute was trying to go bullish, but getting smacked. So let's just see if it could find support right here. 10-minute never went bullish. It got smacked. Same thing with the NASDAQ. 5-minute trying to go bullish, 10-minute trying to test, but running into a bit of resistance. So in the short term, the bears are in control. Potential trend line breakdown here on the SPY. I'll be watching the cues. How much do I want to risk? What time is it? It is 10:52. You can still get some good moves. Meta's turning back over. Nvidia stopped its push. Apple, not looking so good. Microsoft, it's holding, not doing anything. Broadcom's looking a little decent. Rumble's getting a bit of a bounce. Tesla did break that 362 level. Here's the flow specifically on Tesla, which was crazy strong this morning. It seems like it did stop and never recovered, but right there. You could see that the faucet turned off at 10:13. Turned off and then got smashed. I would not be going bullish on it in a short-term play unless I saw that recover. You want it to look how it did all morning, but those buyers, that aggression literally just disappeared. Actually, while we're there, a sanity check. I should check in on Meta. Meta just flat. I mean, it sold pretty hard until about 10:20, and since then, not much going on. Nvidia, I know there's fans of it in here, actually got pretty strong from 10:10 up until right about now. I also know there's Palantir fans, so Palantir was very weak up until 10:25. Now it's recovering flat recently, but overall, maybe a V-shaped recovery going on there. The Mag 7 as a whole just took a hit. Was it Microsoft? Microsoft was hit earlier. Was it Apple? Apple's currently getting hit, so be careful. Apple is turning to the south side. That could have big implications on the SPY and the Qs. What about Amazon? Amazon's actually looking bullish right now. So from an options flow perspective, you have Amazon and Palantir picking up. Tesla stopped. Apple's looking weak. Maybe there's just a flow alert. And it was... Be careful, though, on Amazon. Could be a fake out because that's puts being closed. It's not people aggressively buying. And with Palantir, I think it was calls being purchased. So let me just check that out. It was. Okay, so it was legit strength in Palantir. Hang on. Potential breakdown.
Order submitted.
Why do I have the take profit one still on? I need to just cancel those accounts. It's getting annoying, but I'm taking a bit. I'm going to see if this breakdown, basically, I'm taking a stab at it. I'm seeing if this breakdown holds. I'm seeing if this breakdown is real. I see Tesla turning. I'm taking a stab at it, folks. I don't know. I see that turned a little. I'm not the biggest fan of playing the reversion after the delta is the highest of the day, which means that I probably should just be a bit more aggressive with my stop. But I'm seeing if this breakout's a fake out. That's all I'm playing. And then if I'm wrong and it's real, okay, I have well-defined risk and I could go long if I want. So I don't know how it's going to play out. All I can say is I'm still trading with the overall trend. I'm noticing a potential rejection. I'm wondering if the market's saying, okay, the news we got about Trump actually isn't that special. So I'm just taking a breakdown trade. And if I could ride this puppy all the way back down to the intraday low, hell yeah, I'll do it. I'm actually already back in the green on the day. But let's see if I can manage it well. That's the real trick. All right, so already managing my stop, taking a lot of risk off the table, and we'll see if we could ride this back down to Timbuktu, maybe even Timbuk3. Oh, Piper's up. Guess who woke up from her nap? Oh, you want to trade? You want to trade today? Hey, say hi to everyone. This is my darling princess. I would actually murder an entire island civilization to protect her. She's also the best human I know. This is my actual daughter. She's a trader. She's also getting really good at close-up magic, for those of you who don't know. Oh, she's hungry. Do you think it's immoral, to just train her murder skills? Can I just buy mice and let them loose in my apartment and see if she can hunt them down? Oh, 77. I should. Matthew. All right. Ah. All right. I did it. I did what I was supposed to do. I set my stop to break even already. I took a trade that was a bit questionable. It's already gone in my favor. Stop his break even. Worst case scenario is I'm at where I was at before the trade. So risk is off the table. The question is, am I going to now get fortunate and it break in my favor? That's the question. So like, it's frustrating because sometimes you want to give it a little bit more wiggle room, especially if it starts to take out this high and starts to pump and you sit like, okay, like, do I want to give it a little bit more? But I also know it's the right thing to do. I know it's the right thing to do. So I'm just going to give it a second. I would prefer to risk VWAP. That's 25 points. That's $500. That would put me down 600 on the. No, I don't want to risk it. It's just the risk. The risk isn't there for me. I got to do the right thing. Got to do the right thing. All right. We have the Mag 7 tilting. We have the SPY slightly tilting, but not by much. The SPY did come back down into this initial range. It went sub that options level. It went sub 6,117.5, which is that key level I called out to everyone. We are below it. So once again, it acted a little bit as support, but then quickly gave up. So we were just sucked right back into this range. I'm still looking for the snap of 6,111, and I want to see it play all the way down to 6,100. That's what I'm looking to happen. Those are the key levels. But once again, you have to have the if-then statement for bull cases and bear cases. So if we break that, then I'm looking for the next key level. On the flip side, the bull case would be, if we take out this recent high, then I'm looking for the upside filled to yesterday's closing value. So especially as a day trader, especially as a scalp trader, be prepared for whatever. Like I wouldn't say be married to like one particular side or another. Just be ready for each case and watch the flow and pay attention to who's currently in control. The 5-minute failed, the 10-minute failed, the 5-minute failed, the 10-minute failed. So we almost went back to being bullish in the short term and then it just failed. So I'm like, okay, I'm now looking for that bearish opportunity. So I think it's a good mental framework at any moment in time to just be prepped up, be like, okay, what's currently the bear case? What's currently the bull case? And what would need to happen for you to switch from one to the other? I think a lot of the times in trading, losses, is it coming back up for me? There's a bit of a trend line bounce that I could show you that I think might be screwing me over on this trade. But literally by the time I show you, it's already going to have screwed me over. Don't do it. Don't come towards me. I just want to show the chat what's going on. Right there. So kind of watching this trend line and it bounced off of it, which I played it early and I was being cognizant of like, oh, what if it bounces? Like, obviously I knew that was a possibility. It just bounced super, super aggressively. When I saw it was closely in that region, I was like, I got a little hopeful when it broke down below these lows here. Is it coming for me? It feels like it's coming for me again today. I just keep getting stopped out.
Order canceled.
Another free play. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I didn't risk anything. I got in, I got out at the same level. I'm swinging for it. And this happens a lot. If you trade with this particular style, you're going to get stopped out a lot. Depending on your style, obviously the odds of it change. But the concept here is, let's say you're in a situation where you're trading and you're attempting to do trend following. And let's say out of a series of like 10 trades, you are, let's say 3 of them are wrong. So you're down a unit, down a unit, down a unit. You're down 3 units. And then let's say then there's like another 4 where you end up being break even, because it does happen the most. Like you just saw, it was just a break even trade. I didn't want to risk anything, so I took all risk off the table. I'd literally be red right now. So, okay, now you're still down 3 because 4 of these trades are nothing. 3 of these trades are down your unit risk. And then let's say 2 of them are fine, because like you make a unit, goes your way, but like it just wasn't that good of a trend. So instead of being down net 3, you're now just down net 1 because you lost 3 units. 4 of the trades were neutral, and then the next 2 were a positive unit, slightly went in your way, but nothing like too crazy. It's that 10th one that you're looking for that all of a sudden it runs and you're +5. So you have to think about this as the overall system, not one individual trade. Like, yeah, at this one individual trade, it would have been nice to take that. Yeah, 100%. It would have been nice to take that money, but you never know when you're in that like 10th trade scenario where you're catching that big trade where it's worth like whatever, 5, 6, 7, 8 units, because you need those trades to balance out everything else going on. So as important as it is, obviously, for you to be, wow, what the fuck happened there? As important as it obviously is to always be respecting your risk, you should always be respecting your profit methodology too. Because if you're cutting your profit opportunity early, like too often, too early, you're not going to be making enough money to pay for all those other losses, whether the big losses or paper cut losses, like whatever your system is. I think a lot of people, one of the sayings within the trading world that just drives me absolutely nutty is the saying, no one ever went broke taking profits. That is 100% a lie. If your system is a system that's right 51% of the time and it calls for taking $51 in profits, and then you're wrong 49% of the time, and when you do it, you're losing $49, you have a positive expected value of $2. That's what you need. But all of a sudden, if in the 51% of the time you're like, no one ever went broke taking profits, and you're taking profits at $10, now you went from a winning system to a losing system. The saying of no one ever went broke taking profits, it is wrong. Mathematically, it is wrong. The saying should be no one ever went broke, like properly following the rules of a positive expected value system, but it's too wordy and it's too long. But especially for like newer traders, if like you're earlier in your career, you're going to hear that saying a lot of no one ever went broke taking profits. If you have a system that you're supposed to be sticking to and you're just arbitrarily taking your profits early for like no good reason, but just because you see profits, you're breaking your system, and most likely it will have detrimental effects on the long-term success of said system. So be very, very careful with that. It's honestly, it's probably, that stupid saying is probably reiterated like the most. You hear it all the time, but it is just factually inaccurate. Be very, very careful with that. Let's see what's going on with this trend line now. And let's see what's going on with this trend line now. Anywhere to start for a newbie? Yeah, order some books. I always recommend people start with a book by Larry Williams called The Long-Term Secrets of Short-Term Tradings. I think that's the best place to start. When you start actually trading, don't trade with real money. Start with a paper account, as in fake money, as in not real money, to get used to the brokerages and the systems and entering trades and that type of a thing. But I would highly recommend consume as many books as you can, consume as many podcasts as you can of like well-known vetted traders, and then start trading with paper accounts. We're, I guess, technically still trending upward since 1010. Tesla's now trending down. Looking for this trend line to snap on Meta, but Tesla was higher highs, higher lows. Now it's lower highs, lower lows. I told you be careful at that snap of 662. It did drop $2 from there. We're at a really weird circumstance. We're just now creating a larger pennant on the Qs, so I'd be carefully watching that, but we have lower highs and higher lows, while the SPY itself actually legitimately does have higher highs and higher lows, but maybe we're going to get some follow through. The options flow looks like that. The options flow on the SPY, it is long and strong, but the Qs not so much. Lots of good podcasts like Chat with Traders. Chat with Traders is awesome. I really enjoy that. I listen to more of like the quant specific ones, but Chat with Traders, when they have a quant systematic trader on, I will listen to that. That's a really good podcast. I enjoy it. There's a lot of good content out there too on YouTube of people doing like their own interviews that aren't maybe like, I don't know, what you would commonly think of as a trader podcast. the pre-market show, Access Trader, Josh Shapiro has the channel. I've never heard that, so I can't say if it's good or bad. I would say just be careful, because there's a lot of people who try to talk as if they know about trading, but then yet they have no actual verifiable track record. So be careful, because obviously you can talk about whatever you want with whoever you want, and some people say things in such a convincing manner, but they're actually legitimately wrong. So please be careful with that. I mean, think about how much false information like just got around the world with like related to AMC. People, there was like the social confirmation because they had a big following. People thought they were right, but they're actually lying and don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So you got to be careful. You definitely got to do your like due diligence, and just I wouldn't say like listen to them, but just because you hear something, don't assume it's 100% accurate, 100% gospel. See if you could like fact check it off of something else. The people that I have found who are the most successful in this world of trading happen to also be the people who are just like the most curious and are always asking questions and are always asking for proof, rather than just like, oh, I heard something once, so it has to be true type of a thing. So just be careful with that. Be careful. SMB is a good channel. Maybe. I have no idea. People are saying good or bad, but it just happens because you like it or not. Like that doesn't tell me that there's people who are like actually knowledgeable. Gary's right. You got to do your own homework. Maybe they put out good stuff. Maybe they put out bad stuff. I mean, the longer and longer you're in this particular like industry or world, you're going to realize that unfortunately, there's a lot less. I don't think they're even like intentionally nefarious, or like, I just think they're dumb. Like, I think there's a lot of dumb people in this world who don't realize that they're dumb, and they put out false information, and then people start to use it and trade off of it, and then they don't realize that they're getting like completely destroyed. There are certain YouTube channels claiming they are former bankers or former member brokers that are very sus. Yeah, maybe. I'm sure there are some that are right, and then I'm sure there are some who are being truthful and honest, and then I'm sure that there are some who are just 100% lying. So like, you gotta be careful. So I implore you to go out there, but I think that's why it's almost easier to start with like books, because it's kind of rare in people who have been like trading for so many years. It's easier for like a grifter to, I don't know, start like a TikTok or something like that. While generally, if you're going to put in the effort to like writing an entire book with your own credentials, your own trade history, to me, that's like a little bit of a higher level of proof, which is why I'm not saying that this is appropriate, but I am more biased to like consuming my trading knowledge from reading books. But a lot of the times there's this entire cohort of people who wrote phenomenal books, and they did that maybe in the last decade or the last 2 decades, and now they've transformed more into doing like content on the internet. So those are the people who I really, really like. But once again, that's like personal opinion stuff. Definitely personal opinion. Yeah, trading journal, that's a good suggestion. I mean, every single day I write down what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, how I felt about it, like what I saw, what I didn't see. Inherently, if you're not collecting any data on yourself, on your own trades, you're never going to know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. So I think that's actually a phenomenal tip, is you have to collect the data on yourself so you can isolate where your success is and where your failure is, so you can double down on the successful aspects and then try to like cut out all the like places that are inherently hurting your P&L. What books do you recommend? I have an entire video on that. So it's the other channel if you're watching on YouTube. So just go down to the related channels, and I have the 5 books you should start with. Matt, write a book? One day when I'm an old man and have more time and have more experience and more thoughts to distill, but I don't feel the need to do it. SPY, new intraday high. Wow. What the fuck is going on here? 5 minutes and 10 minutes trying to break out. Jesus. Dude, fucking take profit. I just need to remove. I have like old accounts submitted that I guess I hooked up my trade copier to incorrectly. All right. Uh-oh. Well, this is going to be my last trade of the day, just seeing if I could go green. But obviously what I'm playing here, once again, attempting to, I was leaning bearish, but look at 5 minute, 10 minute, now trying to go bullish, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, trying to go bullish on ES. Mag 7, it's not a good trend, but it is, the linear regression is pointing up and the SPY is long and strong. So basically I'm always just trying to be on the trend with the big guys. If I see big money going one way or the other, I'm always attempting to be, I want to trade with where the money is flowing. So I saw this trend line breakout, was kind of waiting on the cues to see, we had the lower highs, the higher lows, waiting to see which way that was going to break. It broke to the upside. Maybe it's a fake out breakout. Maybe it's a fake out breakdown. I don't know. All I know is that I have well-defined risk. So I'm going to be playing it off that. Tesla trending down. Meta is now trending up. So we're going to see how this goes. But overall, that's what I have for you. Folks, if you haven't already, don't forget to check out Edgeful, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. I don't know what you would be doing. I don't know how you would be successful in this game of trading without having some sort of stats, facts, and figures supporting your trades. And that's probably the easiest place I could think of to start getting into that world of the true statistics surrounding the markets. And then another way you can, I guess, pair this up is by using things such as Apex, a sim-to-funded company, to minimize your risk. So if I kind of think of it as the in-between paper trading in your own funded account, where you're taking a little bit of risk, and because of that, you have actual reward, unlike paper trading, where if you do well, you don't get anything, but you're not really risking your own full account. So check those guys out, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Use the link for Edgeful to get that free 7-day trial. And with Apex, do not forget that the 80% off deal ends this evening. So I just want to call that out to everyone. That's what I have for you. I appreciate all the good vibes. We'll be posting an update video tonight around 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll be streaming once again tomorrow morning. So I appreciate all the good vibes. I hope to see you in the Discord. Love you all. Bye.